What is up, guys? We're back at the warehouse and I haven't filmed here for probably about a week or so. What I did is I was basically filming every single day for a couple of weeks, and then I spread that out for a little bit so that way we get some major progress done between the last film that was filmed and now, and then I also went on vacation, so I had to kind of make that work out so that way I had videos throughout, you know, that vacation. But anyways, I'm super pleased to tell you that we are extremely close on this hood. If you saw on my Instagram, I was posting a little bit about this, but we got this thing almost entirely flat. Right now, I'm the only one here, but later on, George and Frank are gonna be coming, and I know at the very least, George is gonna be helping me out on this thing. I'd say today is gonna be extremely productive, figuring that I have this almost perfectly laid out for George. George is really good at kind of doing the more specific fine-tuning stuff, since he's done this to a lot more cars than I have. I kind of just get the main idea, basically, you know, rough draft everything, and then I'm like, okay, George, it's up to you to basically make this thing actually look good and straight. So basically, this entire thing is really good, except for right about here. I couldn't really figure that out. That's gonna have to take some fine tuning. We're gonna have to figure this curve out, make sure that it's the same exact curve here as it is all the way back here. It just has a little bit too much Bondo in there, so we're gonna have to, you know, just get in there and, you know, super annoying. Anyways, other than that, there's this line here. We are gonna have almost a distinctive body line right here where it is gonna bump up into that little bit of cowl. That's how I want it to be done. I didn't want any of this. Originally, whenever I did all the Bondo glass, I was wiping it up here, and that was a mistake. I did end up just taking all of that down, and so I do want this to be almost flat all the way across here. And it is extremely close. I'd say that this side probably needs to come down a tiny bit, but if you take a look at these corners, they are really getting there. You can see a tiny little dip right here that we're gonna have to do with some Bondo. You can see that I haven't hit any of this with normal Bondo yet. So this still needs some work with Bondo, but we're gonna figure that out once all this is done. Once this long nose is done, which shouldn't really take too long, realistically, it still has a lot of work. I just say too long because I'm comparing this to the back, which is still, I've been working on that thing all last night, and it is becoming increasingly a bigger pain in my ass. I finally got an even gap all the way across here, or at least a pretty thick gap across there. What we're gonna have to do is we're actually gonna have to build out the trunk a little bit. There is a little bit of Bondo across here, but we're gonna have to build it up so that way it has an even curve from here into the trunk and flows smoothly. Over here it gets a little thick, but that might be okay. Mainly what I'm trying to focus on is just making sure that the trunk is sitting where I want it to be, and then we have to make sure that this gap is okay, and from there I'm just gonna start making this as flat as possible. I brought over my pneumatic DA, which is gonna help us just burn through all these really high spots really quickly. I circled a couple of places. This whole big area, that area, and down here are some of the low spots, also here as well. I think we are gonna be using some filler today, and then we're also gonna fill in this little spot. You can see that there's fiberglass behind there. We went through one layer of fiberglass, and there's some more fiberglass behind there. So we're gonna have to fill that in, make sure that's straight, but we haven't really been dealing with that too much just because we have so much other work to do, and that's gonna take 2 seconds, you know, with some Bondo. But yeah, so pretty much I'm just gonna be working back here. Also, since I haven't been filming for about a week, there's been a lot of progress done on the other 2 cars, or I should say at least one of the other 2 cars. We've been coming here nearly every single day except for my week of vacation, and Frank's gotten a lot of progress done on his front end. I'll show you that. And then also Chris has been doing a little bit of work. I know most of you guys don't really care, he's just doing a clutch job. I'm pretty sure since the last time you saw Chris's car, we pulled out the transmission, and then just yesterday we put in the new flywheel, the new clutch, and the new pressure plate. And now for the real progress. Frank has been here nearly every single day I've been here, and he's really gotten a lot done. It's all apart right now, and that's because he's prepping the bay for paint, but he got all his tabs for his bumper, his headlights, and all this. The whole tube, I don't think we actually saw the tube at all. And then we also did a little bit of structural stuff here. Pretty much his entire front end is all good. We had it all up on there just last night. He swapped out his front tires to his rear, and then he had new fronts. These are new Zestino, some sticky compound for the front, and then he's going to be getting a lot wider tires for the rear. You can see that he's probably going to be pulling some of the camber out of here and then putting a fatter tire, and that's because obvious reasons. With a big turbo and an LS, he's probably going to be making a lot of horsepower, and he's going to want more grip in the rear. Another big thing, he just got his trans back. It's almost brand new. I'm gonna try and explain this as best I can. Maybe he'll try and do it later on. But basically, because of the previous person who rebuilt it, they did it very poorly. I guess that it ruined every single drive gear in there. So he had to replace 6 different gears in there, and I guess it was like a $900 job all in. And basically now he has like a brand new transmission, and it should be good. Pretty much that wraps it up for the past week or so that we've been working on everything. I'm gonna go ahead and start working on the trunk.
Remember all we had. How could we get this bad? Where did we lose our glow? You live, you learn. When your heart is set to burn, fading away until the light will return. Someone bring me back to the time when our hearts unite. Bring me back to the time when our hearts unite. Bring me back to the time when our hearts unite.
George and Frank are here. George already put a guide coat on this half of the hood. He's gonna be working on this today, or at least I think so, not sure. And then over here, Frank already started coating his entire engine bay with the silver, and then after this we'll do the clear.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah, no, it honestly looks really bad without the clear, but then once you spray the clear, it looks like really good in factory-ish.
Remember all we had. How could we get this bad? Where did we lose?
Also, I put a couple of wipes on the back of here to fill in that really low spot. This should be one of the last major wipes just to fill in that area. And then from there, we can try and start getting this bottom area a little bit more flat.
You live, you learn. When your heart is set to burn, fading away until the light will return.
So we've been working on this thing for a couple of hours now, and I've been trying to basically just get the center part all completely flat. I've been trying to do it with the pneumatic blocking thing, and it's been taking forever. That thing honestly sucks so much, but it's just gonna take forever, so I'm probably just gonna sit there for another couple of hours. And anyways, up here, George has been getting this thing pretty damn flat. We've been doing a bunch of guide codes, getting it just as flat as possible, working a little bit towards getting this edge all rounded off and make that perfect, because there was a little bit of a question mark in either of those ends and how that was gonna end up. Comments?
Yeah. No.
Now?
No comments.
Now? So what do you think? Pretty close?
Yeah, this is actually pretty good. You did really good with this.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's what you get for spending all that time on there. I wasn't doing a lot of finishing stuff, but I was just blocking the crap out of the whole thing, just trying to make it as flat as possible all the way across to get it to be the best canvas for George to be able to really, get it 100%.
It worked.
And Frank, did you want to show us your synchros?
Synchro collars or sliders. I mean, there's not really to see besides.
Show us the bad one, in the light too.
This is first, second. All the edges are all messed up in there.
Hold on, let me get a close-up of that so people can kind of see.
Everywhere they're all messed up. Fifth gear is this one. Like chipped teeth. And these are not the things you rebuild and replace. These are the housings for the synchros. And these are what goes inside of them. These were also bad too, but these weren't like trays. There, zoom in on this.
Focusing. There we go.
There. This guy hit him up, Matt. I told him I'd shout him out. No, he rebuilt the trans for a very awesome price, honestly. Like, amazing price, can't beat it. Spent like, me personally, I'm like $1,200 into the rebuild. All new billet, like pieces. I couldn't tell you anything because I'm not a professional trans rebuilder. But everything in there is brand new. We had to get all brand new gears, all brand new synchro sliders or whatever they are, brand new shift forks. I had 2 bearings explode in the trans, which dropped it down, and then the synchro, I don't know, some kind of thing that goes along with the synchro cracked in half, and I broke multiple keys. I broke like everything in that trans because the bearing exploded and shifted everything.
And you were saying that because of the previous rebuild.
Yeah. Matt said that the thing was rebuilt before because on one of the gears, like the drive gears in the trans, somebody nicked it and he took a wire wheel to it with a tiger paw, like the flap disc, and cleaned up the teeth of the gear instead of getting in the gear. So like he found a lot of stuff in there that was very improperly done by the previous guy. Not talking about the previous owner of the car, because he bought the trans off eBay or Craigslist or some shit, and it was a shitty rebuild, and I just had to pay for it, which sucks. But it's brand new. So.
And then you also got this all painted up too, right? And then you got your brake booster installed. But
it's just sitting in place.
ah, wow,
No,
it's there.
I got the thing. It's not ready to go back in, kind of, you know. That's kind of it. I'm still doing more clear. Put the metallic in there.
Yeah, it looks nice though.
It's metallic-y. Now let's start buttoning up everything and then redoing the coils, the front coils. Gotta do the springs on that. But I'm getting ready for the motor to get put back in.
Alrighty guys, that's it for today. Pretty much, Frank got all of his engine bay prepped, painted, all that good stuff. He got his new Swift springs put in there. They're a little bit taller than the other ones, so he's gonna have to adjust those to get the proper ride height. So there's stuff. What else did you do? I mean, you put in the wiper motor, painted that, brake booster, brake master cylinder, that's in there, clean.
Ready to go. Motor's ready to be dropped in.
Pretty much all that prep stuff. As you know, he got his trans in, pretty much brand new, because there was so much that was effed up, to say the least. Heading over here, George was mainly working on this half of the hood. It actually looks really good. If you want to get a little bit close up of that, looks really good. It has a really nice transition. We're just working on that right now, and we're gonna do that all the way across there, just so it has a nice smooth transition into there. Again, we're gonna have a little bit of a body line, but that's just what I want. Whole thing is really getting smooth. You can see we're down in metal here and here, so we're just trying to make it, you know, look as smooth as possible and flow with the rest of the car. Haven't really touched this side too much. I was back here for a couple hours just using the, what is that thing called? The air file, right?
Yeah.
And pretty much I got this half of the trunk, or I got this half of the bumper like really close. It's pretty much ready for a little bit more of the air file, and then layer of Bondo. I really just need to get a lot of this, you know, to where I want it to be. But overall, this is really smooth. It's pretty much there. This half, not so much. I'm still gonna have to fill in a little bit of this. You see, I didn't really get to hit too much of this at all. I'm gonna have to fill in some of this. That's why I didn't really get that too much. But if you take a look at my lines here, I basically was doing a 50% overlap with the air file. So I would basically, you know, sand this here, or first I actually started in the middle. First I started in the middle. I would sand all this all the way down until it was pretty much flat all the way across there. Then I would go over, I would overlap that 50%, do that, overlap 50%, do that, and then that again, and so on and so forth. And then I did the same thing on this side. This side, really good, really, really close. I'd say this probably doesn't need a ton more work in, you know, comparison to what, you know, how it started out as anyways. This side needs a little bit more work, a little bit more Bondo. I'd say probably a couple more days work and it's gonna be right there. Really, other than just getting this nice and smooth, I just gotta figure out this top edge and how it's gonna flow into the trunk. We have a little bit of an overhang all the way across here. It's pretty perfect here, but we might even have to bring that out just so that way this flows nice and we don't have it get flat right there like it